Christopher Columbus was an Italian-born navigator and explorer who made 4 voyages across the Atlantic Ocean in the late 15th and early 16th centuries. He is widely credited with opening the way for European exploration and colonization of the Americas, but he is also criticized for his treatment of the indigenous peoples he encountered and his role in the transatlantic slave trade. In this view, I will provide an overview of Columbus's life and voyages, as well as some of the historical debates and controversies surrounding his legacy. Columbus was born in Genoa, Italy, in 1451, the son of a wool merchant. He became interested in sailing and navigation from an early age, and he worked as a seaman on various ships in the Mediterranean and Atlantic. He also studied mathematics, astronomy, cartography, and geography, and he developed a plan to reach Asia by sailing west across the Atlantic instead of following the traditional route around Africa. Columbus believed that the Earth was smaller than most people thought, and that Asia was closer to Europe than it actually was. He also hoped to find great wealth and fame by discovering new lands and trading with the Asian kingdoms. He tried to persuade several European monarchs to sponsor his expedition, but he faced many difficulties and rejections. He finally convinced the Spanish rulers, King Ferdinand and Queen Isabella, to support his project after they had completed the Reconquista, the expulsion of the Muslims and Jews from Spain. In 1492, Columbus set sail from Palos, Spain, with 3 ships, the Santa Maria, the Pinta, and the Nina. He had about 90 men with him, mostly sailors, but also some adventurers, criminals, and priests. On October 12, 1492, after more than 2 months at sea, Columbus and his crew sighted land, which he named San Salvador. He believed he had reached the islands near Japan, but he had actually landed in the Bahamas, in the Caribbean Sea. He encountered the native people there, whom he called Indians, thinking he was in India. Not only that, he was also impressed by their appearance, culture, and hospitality, but saw them as potential subjects and slaves for the Spanish crown. Columbus claimed the land for Spain and continued to explore other islands, such as Cuba and Hispaniola, where he established the first Spanish colony in the Americas, La Navidad. The great sailor returned to Spain in 1493, bringing with him some of the natives, as well as gold, spices, plants, and animals. He was received with great honor and admiration by the Spanish court and was granted the title of Admiral of the Ocean Sea. Columbus also received permission to make more voyages to the New World and was appointed the governor and viceroy of the lands he discovered. As a lover of expeditions, he made 3 more trips between 1493 and 1504, exploring more of the Caribbean, as well as the coasts of Central and South America. Columbus never realized that he had reached a new continent, and he died in 1506, still convinced that he had found a western route to Asia. Columbus's voyages had a profound impact on the history of the world, as they initiated the era of European exploration, conquest, and colonization of the Americas. They also led to the exchange of people, animals, plants, diseases, and ideas between the Old and the New World, known as the Columbian Exchange. However, his legacy is also controversial and contested, as he is also responsible for the exploitation, oppression, and extermination of millions of indigenous peoples, as well as the enslavement and displacement of millions of Africans. He is seen by some as a hero and a visionary, and by others as a villain and a genocidal maniac. His achievements and atrocities are still debated and commemorated in different ways by different groups and nations. Whatever you think of him, Christopher Columbus was a controversial explorer who changed the course of world history with his 4 voyages across the Atlantic. He opened the way for European expansion and domination of the Americas, but he also caused immense suffering and destruction for the native and African peoples. His life and legacy are complex and contradictory, and they reflect the challenges and contradictions of the Age of Discovery.